All right, today we're diving into the heart of Sikhism, but we're doing it from a really unique angle. We're going to see it through the eyes of Harun Khalid, a modern Pakistani Muslim author who literally traced the footsteps of its founder, Guru Nanak. This is all based on his amazing book, Walking with Nanak, and it's a story of faith, of history, and of a legacy that just refuses to be contained by borders.
Okay, so let's get right into this because this is what makes this whole journey so fascinating. Our guide isn't a Sikh scholar from India. He's a Muslim writer from Pakistan, and he's exploring the life of Guru Nanak in the very lands that were the cradle of the Sikh faith. I mean, think about that perspective. It kind of bridges divides before we even begin the story, right? So you have to wonder, what sparks a journey like this? For the author, Harun Khalid, it wasn't just, some historical curiosity. It was a single, incredibly powerful question. A question that revealed a side of a saint he'd just never considered before.
And the context for this quote, it's everything. This wasn't some philosopher sitting in a quiet room thinking deep thoughts. No, this was Guru Nanak witnessing the absolutely brutal invasion of Babur, seeing unbelievable suffering all around him, and daring to ask God directly, if this is your plan, if this is your will, then where is your compassion? For the author, that was a lightning bolt. It revealed a deeply human Nanak, one who questions, who feels pain, and who challenges power, both on earth and in the heavens.
And that humanity, you see, that's the absolute key. Nanak's message wasn't delivered from some high and mighty pedestal. It was a grassroots revolution of ideas, aimed squarely at the fractured, divided society he saw all around him. I mean, he tackled the biggest social problems of his day head on. You had the rigid caste system, and his response was totally radical for the time. Nope, all humans are equal in God's eyes, period. You had blind faith and empty rituals, and he said, look, religion without real understanding is meaningless. And to the deep, violent religious divides between Hindus and Muslims, he famously declared, there is no Hindu, no Muslim, there is only humanity.
And here's the most important part. His solution wasn't some complex theological system that only a priest could understand. It was an incredibly simple, practical path that anyone could follow. Speak the truth, work hard, and share what you earn. That's it. This was a way to be spiritual, not by leaving the world behind, but by living an honest, decent life right in the middle of it.
The simplicity was just perfectly matched with this deep, deep wisdom. You've probably heard the famous story. Nanak is in Mecca and a Qazi gets furious finding him sleeping with his feet pointed towards the Kaaba. So he kicks him and yells at him. But Nanak doesn't argue. He doesn't get defensive. He just says, simply, fine, turn my feet in a direction where God is not. And of course the Qazi was left speechless. What could he say? It was just a perfect, profound way to show that God is everywhere, not just contained in one building or one direction. Now, Nanak's work didn't end with him. He started a lineage of gurus, but the concept was really unique. It wasn't about a succession of different men. The belief was that it was the same spirit, the same single light, passing through 10 different bodies over more than 200 years. And as our author Khalid documents in his travels, that light was forced to adapt to the really violent challenges of the times. Guru Angad gave the community its own written language, Gurmukhi. Then Guru Arjan Dev compiled their holy book, the Adi Granth. But his martyrdom by the state was a brutal, game-changing moment. In response, the next guru, Guru Hargobind, introduced Miri Piri, the two swords of spiritual and worldly power. It was a clear signal. This peaceful faith now had to be ready to defend itself. This idea was sealed forever when Guru Tegh Bahadur was martyred, while defending the religious freedom not of his own people, but of the Hindus.
So you have this history of persecution, of martyrdom, of sacrifice, and it's all building to something. It's setting the stage for one of the most dramatic moments in all of religious history, the birth of the Khalsa, orchestrated by the 10th and final human guru, Guru Gobind Singh. I mean, just try to picture this scene. It's Vaisakhi, 1699. Thousands of people are gathered. Guru Gobind Singh stands up in front of them, pulls out his sword, and asks for a volunteer. But not for some task. He asks for their life. Who, he asks, will sacrifice their head for Dharma? There's this stunned silence. Then, one man steps forward. The guru takes him into a tent. A few moments later, the guru comes out alone, his sword dripping with blood, and he asks for another. This happens 5 times.
But then, the 5 men walked out of the tent, alive and well. They became the first members of the Khalsa, a brand new community of saint soldiers. They were given a new shared identity, defined by these 5 Ks. And these weren't just symbols, they were a code of conduct, a daily commitment. From Kesh, uncut hair, as a way of accepting God's creation, all the way to the Kirpan, a sword to be used only to defend the weak. This was the birth of a new kind of person, spiritually centered, but always ready to fight for justice.
This commitment to justice would demand the ultimate price, cementing a legacy that was built on just unimaginable sacrifice. And it's this very legacy that our author, Harun Khalid, finds still echoing through the land today.
The personal cost to Guru Gobind Singh himself, it's just staggering. I mean, look at this. He lost all 4 of his sons in the struggle. His 2 oldest, just 18 and 14 years old, died fighting in battle. His 2 youngest sons, only 9 and 7 years old, were captured and bricked alive into a wall because they refused to give up their faith. This level of sacrifice is at the very core of what the Khalsa is all about.
So after giving literally everything, his father, his children, his followers, Guru Gobind Singh made one last, absolutely revolutionary move. He declared that the line of human gurus was over. To stop any future power struggles and to make sure the original teaching stayed pure, he passed the guruship on forever to the Holy Scripture itself, the Guru Granth Sahib. It became the eternal, living guru.
And this brings us right back to our author's journey. He travels through modern-day Pakistan to the very places where Nanak was born, where he lived, and where he died. Places like Nankana Sahib and Kartarpur. And what he finds is that even though political borders have cut the land in two, even where old buildings are crumbling, the memory of Nanak, the love for him, his message, is still incredibly alive among the people there.
So, after this whole journey, what's the final takeaway? What's the big realization for the author? It's this. Nanak doesn't just belong to the Sikhs. His message isn't contained by one religion or one nation or one language. In the end, Harun Khalid concludes that Nanak is just another name for humanity's own built-in capacity for compassion and truth. A truth that, as his journey shows us, can still be found by anyone who is willing to walk in his footsteps.